Hey, this is Anthony from Rocket Prince, and thanks for joining my live podcast, Chat One-on-One with Monica. Today we're discussing with Monica about her side hustle, what motivated her to start this opportunity, and how this benefited her and her family. This is my first podcast, and we are excited to be here with Monica, sharing her life story to help bring some inspiration to you if you're curious about starting a home business, side hustle, or taking entrepreneurship. Well, thanks for taking the time to listen to Monica's journey that might help build the confidence that you need to start your own business today. So, welcome, Monica, and thanks for joining today and taking the time on your busy schedule to be here with me, sharing your life journey about entrepreneurship. So what motivated you to start your first side hustle?
Well, it was completely by accident. I bought a sewing machine to make ballroom costumes for my daughter while she was ballroom dancing. And since I wasn't any good at that, I started making quilts and embroidering aprons, and people saw my quilts and my aprons and started asking me to make it for them, and that they paid me to do it, and that's what happened. That's how it happened.
So was building your side hustle always a lifelong dream, or did it happen out of necessity or curiosity?
Curiosity.
So when you first, when you, so did you didn't have this as a passion as a kid? Hey, I want not a side hustle, but did you have some passion that, hey, I wanted to do embroidery, or I wanted to sew, I wanted to do something, and it's just something that's been lingering and lingering until finally it got you to this point where you actually took that leap of faith to do it?
No, actually, I've always been crafty,
Okay.
and it was my daughter asking me if I could try to learn how to sew to help her with costumes.
Okay.
And then, like I said, I wasn't any good at making clothes or anything like that. But I became curious on making other things, and that's where everything else happened.
So what made you decide to finally take this leap and go for it, and then you started making money? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were even making cakes at one time, correct?
Oh yeah, I was. Well, I am. I do.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
were making
yeah,
money, and I don't think any of
yeah. I
us
still
knew you were
still
doing
do
that.
it.
You were just doing that
Yeah,
by yourself, right?
yeah. It's just. Yeah, yeah. That's right. I still do it. And, but no, that's just. It's just what I like to do. Just I do. It's just stuff. I just do stuff. That's it.
So you were so one day you just woke up and you said, "Hey, I'm gonna make some cakes and I'm gonna sell them," or did you make a cake and then somebody said, "Hey, I like this cake. Can you make me one?" And then you sold it to them. How did that come about?
Yeah, it was pretty much like that. It was like I made cakes. I made cupcakes for my crew at work, and then they loved them, and cake for my crew at work, and they loved them, and then so people would ask me to make it for them
Okay.
because they liked the way they liked the way they tasted and looked.
Okay. So that's basically how it kind of started. So Monica, during this whole time you've been doing these side hustles, right? From making cakes to sublimation to now the We Create, right? Where you're at, and then even embroidery. Um what made you finally say, "You know what? I'm going to crank this up a notch and I'm going to start selling, and I'm going to start selling, and this time I'm taking it serious because I need this money." Was it because what benefited by you making this money on the side to your family? Did it become a necessity?
No, but well, more of a passion. Like I really like to craft, and I really like to do all of this stuff, and it's just um, the necessity was that I didn't want to take money out of my family's pocket, so I wanted to make money in order to fund all my projects.
Okay.
So
So did that money, did by you doing these side hustles, did it ever help pay any bills? Did it ever get you did mention right now, you said, "Hey, I didn't want to take money out of my family's pocket, right? So I utilized that money to buy other things." But did that money that you made on the side, did it ever benefit your times in need for your family?
well, yeah, I would say it did because it didn't hurt us or anything like that. So it was more, yeah, it would help with certain things, like it would help with Christmas gifts or
Okay.
yeah, going out to dinner or stuff like that, buying gas. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because that's what it's doing for me right now. Since I've taken this opportunity, and I've it's paid my bills. I mean, I'm talking about big bills, like electric bills, gas bills. It's paid for my gas, my commutes back and forth to work. It's done a lot of stuff for me, and I think both of us can agree that when we took this opportunity and we started receiving money for our work, it does something for you, right? You get even more motivated, and you want to continue doing this stuff, right? Because now, I said earlier, you just purchased a We Create,
Mhm.
so that only tells me that you're you're still striving to take this even further, right? So are you still, what are you trying to continue with this, and take it to the next level, and take it
Yeah.
from a side
Yeah.
hustle to an actual business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. To have, yes.
So what education did you take to get you to where you're at now, from embroidery, making cakes? I think you even said you make candles, right? And then your sublimation, and then now that We Create. What did you go to school for this, or did you do what I did? I just learned free content on YouTube, and I still do that.
Yeah. No, the more I think about it, education wise, no, I never like went to like school for it or anything, but like for quilting and for the embroidery part of it, I did go to I took like a class at the park district on it. And then I took a few cooking classes on how to decorate cakes and stuff like that, you know.
So
Nothing that I went to like professional college for or anything like that.
okay. And when you said you took these cooking classes, did you take them online, or did you pay for, like, to go to a community college to learn these skills, or what,
Uh,
or how did you do that? If you wanted
yeah,
to
no.
share your story with somebody, and they're curious about doing that, what would you recommend them to seek to get that education?
For me, I went to like for sewing and quilting and embroidery. I went to city not a college, but it was like a park district where they have like the classes that you could sign up for. So I signed up for a class there, and then with the Chicago colleges, I took a 4-day course on baking and making cakes that they had.
Okay.
So yeah.
And that kicked it off, right? It started,
Hmm.
and then from there everything just started kind of like going in motion with where you're at today. So what has been the most rewarding part of this journey for you personally, Monica?
It seemed people with who actually asked to buy my stuff or for me to make them stuff um, actually use it or actually get excited when they see it or when I accidentally bump into them and I see them with it or using it.
And I get that, right? Because when I first started too, and I was nervous of giving somebody something that I made, But once I received that money and the exchange is like you just talked about, you see that smile on that person's face, and you're thinking in your head, I don't know about you, but I'm like a self critic. I'm always criticizing myself, and and I always think that I'm doing, I'm waiting for that reaction for somebody to say, "Oh, it's ugly." What the hell did you get? Just forgive me. So I agree. I think did you feel like that same way too? Do you feel like you're like a big self critic to yourself when
Oh,
you?
yeah, I'm my worst enemy. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
I'm my
So
worst enemy.
So just seeing that transaction when you make somebody smile, that's the most gratification that I can say that's very rewarding to me as well. So Monica, if someone listening is on the fence about starting their own side hustle or entrepreneurship business, what would you say to encourage them?
Do what you love to do. Do what you have a passion for, and then just go for it.
Okay. And you're absolutely right because I like I said before, and I don't know if you watch my videos, but I was scared. I was really scared. And I share my stories that I had $400 and I took that $400 and I felt guilty spending it on a heat press because I knew that money was important to my family. We could have bought clothes, we could have bought some other stuff, and I could have bought groceries, and but I ended up taking that opportunity, and I had no idea what the outcome of this was going to be. I had no idea it was going to bring me here. And I think it's very important that people hear like your story, um, to teach them and to inspire them that not to be afraid. Am I correct, Monica? Don't be scared, right? Because if you don't try, if you don't give it an ounce of trying, it's not going to happen, right? So you feel the same way. Is there anything else you would want to share with anybody else about that? About not being scared, or what would you say to break somebody's fear?
Is don't listen to uh, the little person in your head telling you you can't do it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So, Monica, if somebody wanted to reach out to you to purchase anything that you do, where can they find you and find all the stuff that you're trying to sell?
They can find me at Etsy at CoffeeFoxxCreations, and
Okay.
I have a bunch of stuff listed there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, definitely we're going to check that out. And thanks again for joining my podcast, Monica. And like I said, you doing this for everybody. I'm hoping that it reaches out to somebody who is lurking in the back and really wants to pursue this. I'm hoping just by them listening to your kind words is going to actually be an inspiration to them as well, and give them that confidence for them to be able to do what they got to do and not be scared, because that's the whole purpose, right? We're trying to talk about, we weren't born with a silver spoon in our hands, right? We had to actually get in the grind, roll up our sleeves, and get to work, right? And it comes with, you do get scared, but it also comes with that drive, and you can't have that drive if you don't push yourself, right, Monica?
Right.
You got to have that push in order for you to make it happen. So thanks again, Monica. I really appreciate this for you joining this channel. And please, everybody, if you do want to check out Monica's Etsy shop, go to her link, and you'll find the link below in the descriptions, and you can actually check out Monica's store. And thanks again, and please, um, purchase, give her the opportunity, so so she can start pursuing her career, her passion, what she's got going on, because Monica does do some great work and she does make some crafty items that I'm sure that you're going to want to have them in your home. So with that, Monica, thanks a lot. And then hopefully, Monica, we can bring you back and maybe you can show some of your items, your creations that you've done. So to share with the audience, to see to see your skills, right? We would love to have you back. Are you willing to come back next time?
Yeah.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. So with that, everybody, you have a blessed week and a blessed day, and we'll see you guys back on my next podcast, Chat One-on-One with you. And we're going to see who we're going to bring to this podcast to help inspire you, to get you motivated, to get you started with your side hustle today. So thanks again, Monica, and peace.